Hi everyone, look what we're making today. It's deep fried and it's onions. This is Big Mac onion rings. I can't wait to do it. These are really cool. Let's get into it right now. Okay, so of course the first thing is we need some onions. I'm not sure if I need one or two of these. The recipe actually called for 5, which seemed a little excessive, so we're going to do 1, see how that works out. I'm going to cut the ends off. Carefully peel it. This is not normally the way I peel onions, but because I'm making the onion ring part, I kind of like to keep it all as whole as possible. And yet it peeled so perfectly. I wish I could get them all to do that. Now we want thicker onion rings. We don't want like really small ones. So I'm trying to be careful. Yeah, I'm not going to use that one. I'll save that for cooking. You want something about this thick, 1/2 inch-ish, 3/4 of an inch. So I think I can get 2 slices out of that, and from there I'm going to kind of push out my onion rings. So here we go. Now I'm not making a full batch. You can if you like. And this is only the 1 onion. I ended up not using that second onion. The onion got saved for another day. So here's the onions I'm going to use. I've got 6 right here, and then I thought, yeah, okay. Yeah, how about a couple more? I took 3 more from the onions we had already sliced up. They're going to be a little smaller, but it's still going to work. So obviously, depending on how many onion rings you want to make, it's kind of a guess on how much we're going to need. Our next ingredient is dill pickle. Now I've got 1. You want it chopped up pretty fine. And you'd be surprised at just how much pickles you actually get out of 1. You wouldn't think it would be a lot, but for this recipe, it turned out to be almost just what I needed. And we'll give them a little slice so they're nice and chopped like that. And we'll get it in a little bowl until the time comes that we're going to use it. Okay, into a bowl. We're going to put our ground beef together. So that is 1 pound of lean ground beef, followed by a teaspoon of sea salt, which I actually had. You use regular salt, of course. 1 teaspoon of ground pepper, and 1 teaspoon-ish, because that's 1.5 teaspoons of garlic. Then we're just going to mush it all together. And you can spice up this burger however you'd like. You want to go easy on the salt, be my guest. So we just want to combine it so all the spices get all mixed around. Our next ingredient is cheese slices. Now obviously I've got my little cookie cutters, my round cookie cutters, and I want to make sure that the cheese slices are going to fit in the onion rings. Because a square peg ain't fitting in a round hole. But if we take our cookie cutters out, I think we're going to be able to make them fit. Once I get them all together, I realize there's more than 1 size. I guess if I was doing this professionally, it'd all be the same size. I'm going to make it work one way or another. So there's my first cheese slice, and I'm not letting the little pieces go to waste either, don't you worry. And does that fit? Yes, it does. So now I just got to do this a few more times. You can see the second one does not come out round, but then I figure no one's really going to see that one, so I can just put that on top. And then we'll go on to the next one and do the same thing again until we've gotten enough cheese slices cut that I've got enough to fill up my onion rings. I've got a plate, and we get the rest of the cheese slices done. I'm trying to put them on the plate based on how I've cut them out so they kind of fit in each one. I know it sounds kind of silly, but that's just what I was figuring. If I kept track of the onion rings in the right order, then the cheese I cut into small rounds should fit in each one of those. At least in theory it was going to work. I don't think it turned out too bad. Okay, so now I brought my pan out with the onion rings, and I'm not sure just how much ground beef I'm going to have to use. So the idea is you're going to put some ground beef in the bottom, mush it around so it goes right to the edge of those rings. There. And then we go back to our plate, figure out which onion ring cheese slices I have. One goes there, just like that. Some of the pickle goes on top. Another cheese slice on top of the pickles because, hey, you gotta have cheese. And then an equally small piece of ground beef goes on the top to hopefully fill it all in. So if I've done my figuring right, there's just enough in there to fill that onion ring all the way through. There. Just like that. I want to make sure it was fixed on both sides, and it sure looks like it. That's the first one done. And then here they are one by one. They look so nice. Whoops, I had to make a little extra room because there wasn't enough room on the pan. So there we go. They're done. Next up, we're going to make the sauce. So into our bowl, 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika, or just regular if you got it. 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder. 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder. Teaspoon of sugar. Pinch of white pepper. Mix all that around. Now we need 1 teaspoon of vinegar. Just like that. And 2 teaspoons of mustard. There's 1. There's 2. Now here's the rest of the chopped pickles. From that one pickle, this is how much we still had left. It's amazing. And now to top it all off, we need 1.5 cups of mayo. I don't think that's 1.5 cups. I don't even think that's quite a cup. That was more than enough for the sauce that we made. Okay, we're going to put this in the fridge till we're ready for it. And a spoiler alert, if you're not in the mood to make the sauce, just get some Thousand Island dressing. Okay, time to get our onion rings ready for frying. Into one pan, that is 1 cup of flour. Into the second pan, that is 1 cup of Miko breadcrumbs, my homemade ones. Into the other pan, actually it's a bowl, 2 eggs. We're going to mix them up. Now I wish I would have added a little bit of water and an extra egg because I ended up running out halfway through. But anyway, so the idea here is you take your onion ring, dip it in the flour, try to cover it up with the egg wash as best you can, and then into the breadcrumbs. So about halfway through, I thought, you know, I've also done this where you just use flour, and I was wondering just how well that would work. So while we're doing this, I thought I got enough onion rings I can try both methods. I didn't have any spices in the flour, which if I'm ever going to do it again, that's what I would do. So the first 3 or 4 we did with the breadcrumbs and the egg. You can see how the egg's really kind of running out of juice here. Not impressed, and really I should have put some water in it. But we made it work. We did make it work. I had to stop halfway through and crack one more egg. You can see where, rather than going back to the breadcrumbs, I decided to try it with just the flour. And it worked as far as braiding it goes. I probably could have just done the flour without going to the egg wash and back. I want to be somewhat consistent. So in our nice frying pan of hot oil goes our onion rings. Breadcrumbs are on the right side, and the flour ones are on the left. You want to let them sit about 3 minutes on each side. Look at that, how nice and golden that looks. Now look at it, here's the difference. Same amount of time, and they're not quite as brown when it's just the flour. So the breadcrumbs do brown it up quite a bit more. But in the end, it's all taste in that. You know, they were all fantastic. This was another, they sure didn't last much past the meal recipe. So we're done all of it. We're going to leave them to sit, but I'm going to show you what each one looks like. There's our breadcrumb is the one up top. Our flour onion ring is the one in front. So of course we get some of our dressing out to dip the onion rings in. I've had that in the fridge for a while. And here we go. Check that out. Oh, I can't wait to give these suckers a try. I bet you they are so good. No, they really are so good. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.